Good morning everybody, it's Eric Lowe. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video we're going to be talking about tattoos, but more specifically we're going to be talking about things that you should know before getting a tattoo. Regardless of the reason why you want one or not, it's important to be educated on exactly what it is that you want when getting a tattoo and all the other things that fall in line whenever you're going to get a tattoo. I've made a list of the things that I think are pretty key important factors when deciding to get a tattoo and actually following through with it, so I really hope you enjoy it. And I feel like I can speak on this behalf since I have tattoos. I have nearly almost a full sleeve. I'm still not done. They are addicting, I will say that. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Number one, I think you should really think about what it is that you want to get. The thing about a tattoo is they're permanent for the most part. I mean, technically you can get them lasered off, but genuinely speaking, tattoos are permanent, okay? They're not ink from a pen on your skin. It's a tattoo, it goes deep into the skin, hence why they show. Make sure it's something that you absolutely want, right? Think about it for a long period of time. Don't just act upon it. Don't just be like spontaneously going to get a tattoo, anything like that. Like, it's gonna be on your body forever. It should at least have some value to it. Not necessarily needs meaning. Sometimes tattoos look cool with or without meaning, but make sure that it's something that you absolutely want. The reason why you want to make sure it's something you want is because you don't want to get a tattoo and then later down in life you ended up regretting it, okay? Number two, you gotta find the right placement for a tattoo. Sometimes, depending on what you want, whether the tattoo is big or whether it's small, parts of the body, it may or may not look good. Okay, like for example, right, your elbow. This is kind of a hard area to tattoo because there's different shapes and lines going on. So typically, whenever you get like an elbow tattoo, right, you don't want to get something that has an enormous amount of detail on it, like a portrait of someone's face, right? Because you're going to be bending it a lot, and it might not look very good. I mean, the same thing with the ditch on the inside of the arm, right? I've talked to many tattoo artists, including the artists that I go to for my tattoos, and just certain placements for tattoos they're not easy. So finding the placement of a tattoo is extremely important. You can, first of all, you should talk to your artist about it, you know, where it is that you want to get it, and then also just making sure that it's 100% where you want the tattoo to be, and yeah, that's about it. Number three, do not go to the first artist that you talk to. I see this a lot. Some people get intimidated by tattoo artists because either, you know, they go in, it's a new environment, they meet a tattoo artist, whether they're cool or whether they're not, they're probably tatted from head down, whatever the case may be, right? You should never just pick the first artist you go to, and here's why. First of all, some artists charge different prices, and also artists have many different styles, okay? So if you go to the first artist, right, you're only going to be exposed to their style and their form of art. Whereas if you try to maybe go, I would say 3 to 5 different artists, am I even saying that correctly? 3 to 5 different artists, you'll be able to pick out a different style for each tattoo, or, you know, whatever fits your budget at the time as well, okay? So make sure that you just don't walk into any tattoo shop and then just go to the first artist and then just book an appointment with them. That's kind of dumb. I would highly recommend making sure that you pick an artist that you're actually comfortable with, you like their style, and you're comfortable with them giving you a tattoo. Number four, talking to your artist. This is a big one. This kind of goes back to placement of the tattoo. Here's the thing, most artists, I'd say 90% of them, take pride in their work, okay? There is a small group, I would say 10%, maybe even less than that kind of just don't care. They might just be brand new and starting off, or they just need money or whatever, right? But real artists going to a shop, they actually take pride in their work, and they're not going to tell you that they can or can't do a tattoo because of who you are as a person. They're going to give you their opinion on whether or not you should put this tattoo here or whatever your tattoo idea. They're doing it because they've been experienced in this and they want to make sure that they are offering the best product to you, right? And making sure that the tattoo is going to come out perfect and clean and it's going to have as much or as little detail as they honestly think it is. It really is important to talk to your artist because they're the ones doing the work. If you want to have, a map tattooed on your wrist, well, you're going to have to sacrifice a little bit of detail because of how small the placement is. Whether, you like it or not. I mean, you could, but that doesn't mean that it's going to get, it's going to look good. And I'm going to get to that topic. But let's say you decided to get the world map on your chest, right? There's a lot more surface area right here for the tattoo artist to go in. They can add more detail. So it's really important to talk to your artist and come up with a plan of what you want to get tattooed. And don't be afraid to tell them exactly what you want. I mean, you got to remember this is going to be on your body pretty much permanently. And so you want to make sure that you're getting the absolute best detailed, best placement, and best tattoo that you can have for yourself. Number 5. Here's one of my personal favorites, and that is please do not cheap out on your tattoos. This is a big one because I feel like a lot of people don't really understand the amount of work that goes into doing a tattoo. It's not like drawing on a piece of paper, okay? You're literally tattooing skin that can move, okay? And that makes it difficult. Not only that, but there are certain details that go into it, right? I mean, if you've ever seen this, go into any tattoo shop and they should have at somewhere posted like a bloodborne pathogens certification, right? Because tattoos can become infected, right? So it's important that you don't cheap out on your tattoos. You don't go to an artist that's charging next to nothing, right? Or maybe they just got out of jail or something and they do tattoos. I mean, unless they're absolute banger tattoos, you get what I'm saying. Don't go to some dude's garage. Go to like an actual shop and don't cheap out on your tattoos. I promise you it is worth every single penny and you're not going to regret it. The rule to always follow is good tattoos aren't cheap and cheap tattoos aren't good. Number 6, tip your artist. I don't really think people truly understand the amount of money that goes into doing a tattoo. The first thing you have to understand is tattoos are expensive for a reason. Sorry, my light cut out. But tattoos are expensive for a reason, and that reason is because, well, the artist is not only spending an enormous amount of time, right? So you got to think about cost per hour, and on top of that, all the materials that go into using a tattoo. They can only use their needles one time per person, okay? Because then they got to throw them out. They got to make sure that there's no, infected needles or anything like that, or used needles. That's also really bad. They're using an enormous amount of ink. I mean, look at all of my tattoos. Even though most of them are black and gray with hints of red, it's a lot of black ink. Okay, and so that stuff costs money. And a lot of times tattoo artists will outsource to a third-party vendor to get their tattoo stuff. They don't just go on like eBay or whatever to pick their ink and stuff like that. Sorry, the light keeps turning on and off. I have no idea why. Yeah, you also have to take in consideration that, when you are getting a tattoo, most of that money is not even going to the artist. Artists have to pay for their spot at the tattoo shop, right? The tattoo shop isn't just some shop that somebody owns, right? It's usually owned by a business. I'm tired of playing with this, so I'm gonna just leave it off for a little bit. It's owned by a business, okay? So they have to pay rent for that spot. So a lot of times tattoo artists, although they charge a lot of money, that money isn't necessarily going into their pocket. In fact, it's actually going to pay the rent and then also reinvesting it back into all of their utensils like needles and ink, gloves, paper towels, green soap, all the stuff that goes into getting a tattoo. This one's not really a tip, but I am gonna say this. Tattoos do hurt. And so be prepared to be sitting there for a long period of time, getting tattooed. It's gonna suck. Anybody that tells you tattoos don't hurt is clearly lying. Obviously, people have different pain tolerances. Personally, all of these, I was able to sit through them, no problem, anything like that. But, right around here in the wrist area, it hurt, man. It definitely made me close my eyes and kind of go, oof, They're not just gonna be something you can put on and then just walk away. And anybody who tells you any differently is obviously full of themselves. Number 7. This one's pretty important, man. You should eat before getting a tattoo. And the reason why is because your body is technically being cut open and you're going through some trauma. And a lot of times people will actually faint by getting a tattoo because they didn't have food in their system. Okay, so having the food, getting your proteins and getting your complex carbohydrates, your body is using that energy, right? And when you're suffering that trauma, your body can actually withstand it, taking in the energy from the food Sorry about the light. The food basically just helps you not faint, and any artist will tell you that. And on top of that, do not drink alcohol. I know some artists don't care, but most of them do care. Alcohol like thins your blood, and so when you're getting tattooed, you tend to bleed a lot. And a lot of artists do not want to work on people who are intoxicated anyway, but also because it makes tattooing someone a little bit more of a pain in the butt. Number 8, and this is the last one. Sorry about the light. I know I keep preaching about it, but please take care of your tattoo. You have to understand, it literally is an open wound on your body. It is not just little cuts and scars. It's essentially a full open wound, and tattoos can become infected. Now, depending on how you want to go about actually recovering and taking care of your tattoo, kind of depends on the person. I know some people like to dry heal their tattoos. I don't do that. I actually just go with like 1 to 2 days using some like A&D ointment, anything that like I believe is like antiseptic, and just kind of putting it on there. And because your arm is also going to swell up, or wherever it is that you're getting a tattoo, it's going to swell up. And then after that, I would use non-scented lotion. It's very important to use non-scented, because typically scented lotions have, you know, chemicals in it that might irritate the tattoo, or it could even possibly make it infected. So, and then, yeah, that's basically why you would do that. And normally I would use lotion for like a week. Usually tattoos heal about anywhere from 1 to 2 weeks. Also, a side little note, sometimes, well, a lot of times actually, tattoos will lose a little bit of ink during the healing process, which is why a lot of artists might even offer free touch-ups and stuff like that. And I'll even show you like right here. I don't know if you can see this, but I lost a little bit of ink in there, a little bit of ink in my wrist area over here. It is what it is, man. That's basically about it, man, honestly. The last thing I can say is enjoy your new tattoo. It's super, super cool. I personally am a huge fan of art. I plan to have a lot more tattoos in the future, but with all the things that I just talked about, it can kind of be a little hard, especially when you understand that like when you go to an artist, it's going to take a little while before you can actually get an appointment with them and stuff like that. But thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, or if you have any more questions, feel free to send them down to the comment section below. I'd be more than willing to help you out. And I hope you follow all of these and go get yourself a tattoo that you've always wanted. Thank you so much. I will see you guys later. I'm out.